Good morning to all. I'm Dr. Alice MATHAI, Assistant Professor, Department of Economics, St.Joseph College of Arts and Science, Autonomous, Cuddalore. Today we are going to see Law of Diminishing Marginal Utility. The Law of Diminishing Marginal Utility states that the amount of satisfaction provided by the consumption of every additional unit of good decreases as we increase that good's consumption. That is, the law tells that utility will diminish as we add one more unit. So as we add, the utility goes on diminishing. This can be explained with an example. Suppose a person is very hungry and has not eaten food all day. When he finally starts to eat, the first bite will give him a lot of satisfaction. As he keeps eating more and more food, his hunger will decrease and come to a point where he does not want to eat anymore. A real life example of law of diminishing marginal utility is food. The more one eats the food, the less hungry one will become. This law can also be explained with other examples with all the goods we consume. For example, we don't want to buy the same color shirt, or we don't want to buy the same phone. The next time we buy different because our marginal utility is diminishing. Assumptions of the law. We assume the following to explain the law of diminishing marginal utility. The first assumption is rational consumer. The consumer is said to be rational when he wants to get maximum satisfaction with his limited income. So that is rational consumer. Next assumption is continuous consumption. It means that the consumer continuously consumes every additional unit of the good. That is, there should not be any time gap. If there is any time gap, the consumption will change. So we assume that there should not be any time gap between the consumption. Next assumption is standard size of the unit. That means it is saying that all the units consumed should be the same size. There should not be any difference in the size. Only then we can find out the diminishing marginal utility. The next assumption is complete information. The consumer will possess full information about the commodity he is going to consume, the environment, economic environment, what is the conditions, all the information regarding his consumption, he will have a complete information. Then next assumption, the consumer can rank combination of goods based on the satisfaction they yield. That is, he can rank which is giving him maximum satisfaction. Marginal utility of money remains constant. We also assume that the utility of money will remain the constant throughout our consumption. The next assumption is income of the consumer remains constant. So income, why we assume that income of the consumer remains constant? Because if the income changes accordingly, his consumption, his demands also will change. So we assume that the income of the consumer remains constant. Next, this law can be explained with the schedule and diagram. In this diagram, the x-axis represents the number of units of a good and y-axis represents the marginal utility of the good. Here, in this table, units of apple, we are telling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can find that we are adding only one more. So to find out marginal utility, we have to add only 1. 1, second 1 plus 1, 2, 2 plus 1 3, 3 plus 1 4, 4 plus 1 5, 5 plus 1 6, and 6 plus 1 7. So all we are adding only 1 1 1. The total utility is getting, when he consumes the first apple, is getting 20. Then when he consumes the second apple, the total utility is 35. So total utility is increasing when he consumes one more. At the same time, we'll see what is happening to the marginal utility. Marginal utility is decreasing, and at one point it becomes 0. Then it becomes negative. This can be explained with the diagram. In the diagram, we can find this is the total utility curve and this is the marginal utility curve. When total utility is increasing, marginal utility is decreasing. When total utility is reaching the maximum, we can find that marginal utility is becoming 0. After that, total utility is decreasing, and we find that marginal utility is becoming negative. So this schedule is explained with the help of the diagram. Next, we'll see the exceptions of diminishing marginal utility. Now we said that as we consume more and more, the utility is decreasing or diminishing. But there are some exceptions to this law. The first exception is addictions or hobbies. In this case, the law does not hold. The marginal utility have an additional glass of alcohol does not decrease for an alcoholic. The same way, in case of hobbies, a person who likes to paint or a person who likes to collect the stamps or pictures or any other hobby, as we keep on increasing, our utility keeps on increasing. So this addiction and hobbies does not hold good in case of diminishing marginal utility. Next, rare items. In case of rare items also, this law of diminishing marginal utility does not hold good, because those who are passionate for rare items, they like to have more and more of the rare items. So in this case, the law of diminishing marginal utility will not hold good. Then unrealistic assumption. Assumptions made by this law do not hold good. A consumer might have irrational decisions. There could be intervals between the consumption of units of a good, etc. Violating these assumptions might cause the law to not hold for a certain situation. So this is how the law of diminishing marginal utility can be explained. Thank you.